I chose 3 recipes that I wanted to share with you from Cook's Country, and this is from the bottom right here. It's April/May of 2007, so it's an older recipe, and so I chose the chicken and rice with spring vegetables because it seems like an easy weeknight recipe. I chose a soup because sometimes you just want soup. So I chose the Pittsburgh wedding soup to share with you. And then I chose, for dessert, I chose the peach puzzle, which is a $10,000 grand prize winner. So if you're interested in any of these 3 recipes, let's stick around and I will read it to you. Alright, so chicken and rice with spring vegetables. I'll read you the ingredients list and then read you what to do, okay? So chicken and rice with spring vegetables serves 4. The rice will cook unevenly if the pot is uncovered for too long, so work quickly in step 3. Okay, I'm going to go down a little bit so that you can see the recipe. And this is a Cook's Country recipe from April and May 2007. So, and if you've ever subscribed to Cook's Country, you would know that it's hard to unsubscribe. So I would not recommend subscribing to their services. However, the recipes are hard to find, which is why I want to read it to you. I like that they test their recipes. Alright, so it requires half a cup of orzo, and I'm guessing that's dry orzo, 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 pound of asparagus, trimmed and cut into 1-inch pieces. I feel like you can substitute broccoli, green beans, some vegetables that are more hearty and harder. I wouldn't substitute like cabbage or anything, although I love cabbage, so I feel like cabbage would be delicious with this too. I need 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm sure you can use chicken thighs, which tend to be less expensive and actually more delicious. And I don't know why I'm doing this, but chicken thighs are more moist than chicken breasts. Salt and pepper, 1 cup long grain white rice. So I guess that could be like basmati or jasmine rice. 1 onion. I'm sure you can put less onion if you don't have a full onion. 4 garlic cloves, and I always put a lot of garlic cloves, but 4 is a lot. 2 1/4 cup of low sodium chicken broth. I'm sure you can use regular chicken broth that's not low sodium. And I always use the Better Than Bouillon chicken broth, which is basically it's like a sauce, not a sauce, it's like a gravy that you can like put in. So it's 1 teaspoon of the gravy, of the Better Than Bouillon, plus 1 cup of water is 1 cup of chicken broth. So you can use that, and that saves a lot because you'd have to buy like the containers of chicken broth. 1/4 cup of white wine. Okay. And I feel like you can kind of skip this if you don't want alcohol in your food, or if you don't want to open up a bottle of white wine. 1 cup of frozen peas, 2 tablespoons fresh basil, and you can probably substitute like parsley or maybe cilantro, I think would go well with this. And then half a teaspoon of grated lemon zest. All right, toast orzo in Dutch oven over medium-high heat until deep brown, 5 minutes. So there's like no oil. and that's the color, I guess. Wait, no. Yeah, orzo. Orzo is actually a pasta, so you would find that in the pasta aisle. And it's like a little tiny, it looks like rice almost. Transfer to bowl. Heat 1 tablespoon oil in now empty pot until shimmering. Cook asparagus until lightly browned and nearly tender, about 3 minutes. Transfer to plate. And then season. Step 2 is season chicken with salt and pepper. Heat remaining oil in now empty pot until just smoking. Cook chicken until lightly browned, about 3 minutes per side. And I would not move the chicken when you put it. So put the chicken on the Dutch oven. Don't move it so that it can brown properly. Browning is flavor. Transfer chicken to plate, leaving fat in pan. Add rice, onion, and 3/4 teaspoon salt to pot and cook until rice is sizzling and toast it about 3 minutes. Add 3/4 of garlic and cook until fragrant, about 30 seconds. Stir in toasted orzo, broth, and wine and bring to simmer. Nestle chicken into rice and pour in any juices accumulated on plate. Cover pot. Reduce heat to low and simmer until chicken is cooked through, about 12 minutes. Working quickly, transfer chicken to plate and cover loosely with foil. Stir rice, replace cover, and continue cooking until rice is tender and liquid is absorbed, about 12 minutes. Off heat, gently fold in peas, basil, zest, remaining garlic. So I guess there's raw garlic in here. And reserved asparagus. Cover and let sit until heated through, about 2 minutes. Transfer to serving platter and top with chicken. Serve. So that's the recipe. And so they mix rice with orzo. And I think that came from Rice-A-Roni. So I think this person from San Francisco was having a hard time with rice. So, running out of options, I found my unlikely muse in the supermarket, Rice-A-Roni, which combines pasta with rice to lend a distinct texture and flavor to its boxed dinners. In hopeful desperation, I gave this concept a try, adding my roni in the form of orzo, a rice-shaped pasta. To my surprise, the orzo with an extra 1/4 cup of liquid cooked at exactly the same rate as the rice and added a welcome texture to the dish. To improve its flavor, I tried toasting the orzo along with the rice, but that didn't do much. However, toasting the orzo in a dry pan gave it a deep caramel color and an earthy taste that worked wonders. For the finishing touch, tasters asked for a few flavorful stir-ins. The addition of fresh basil, raw garlic, and lemon zest transformed this humble dish into something worthy of a special occasion. So, thank you, Jeremy Sauer, for submitting this recipe. And I'm guessing he's from San Francisco because on top here it says, can spring vegetables and a San Francisco secret take chicken and rice out of the fog. By the way, San Francisco is very cold, so if you ever visit, you gotta wear a thick jacket. Alright, so that is chicken and rice with spring vegetables. Now let's move on to the Pittsburgh wedding soup, and I love wedding soup. Okay, so this is the Pittsburgh. Okay, Pittsburgh wedding soup. All right, tender meatballs, pasta, and greens are a great match. But could we divorce ourselves from most of the usual kitchen work? This serves 6 to 10. If meatloaf mix isn't available, substitute 1 pound of 85% lean ground beef, Serve with extra Parmesan cheese and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Alright, so for the meatballs, you need 2 slices of hearty white sandwich bread torn into pieces. And if you don't have bread, maybe you can use breadcrumbs. And half a cup of milk. I'm sure you can substitute with like other kinds of milk, like oat milk or soy milk. 1 large egg yolk, half a cup of grated Parmesan, 3 tablespoons parsley, 3 garlic cloves, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1 pound meatloaf mix. I've never seen a meatloaf mix, but yeah, I'm sure you can substitute with 1 pound of lean ground beef. And maybe you can substitute with turkey, which I often use. I often use ground turkey because it's healthier and it tastes like beef to me. Okay, for the soup, you'll need 1 tablespoon olive oil, 2 garlic cloves minced, 1/4 of a teaspoon red pepper flakes, 3 quarts low sodium chicken broth, and you can use the Better Than Bouillon, like I mentioned earlier. You need 1 large head kale or Swiss chard. I love Swiss chard. Like Swiss chard in soup is delicious. Oh my goodness. Kale you can also use. And what I actually do with kale is I cut off the stems and I chop it like onion. And then I add it with like olive oil and onion. But I don't know if this actually uses onion, so I would just I would cook it like at the beginning of the process. So, all right. And you can do the same thing for the Swiss chard stem also, so that you don't throw away the stems. And it adds flavor and fiber. All right, you need 1 cup of orzo, which is actually, you can probably use the same box as the chicken and rice because you only need half a cup of orzo in the other recipe. So anyway, 3 tablespoons chopped fresh parsley, salt, and pepper. All right. For the meatballs, I'm using a potato masher. Potato masher. I'm sure you can use other things. Mash bread and milk in large bowl until smooth. Oh, you can definitely use your hands to just can mash the bread with the milk. Although if you don't want to use hands, I'm sure you can use like a fork. Add remaining ingredients except meatloaf mix and mash to combine. Add meatloaf mix and knead by hand until well combined. Form mixture into 1-inch meatballs. You should have about 55 meatballs. That's a lot of meatballs. Although one time I made spaghetti and meatballs and I made them really, really small like that. And I counted 110 meatballs. And I used only like 1 pound of meat. All right. And arrange on rimmed baking sheet. Cover with plastic wrap and refrigerate until firm. At least 30 minutes. Meatballs can be made up to 24 hours in advance. So that means that you need space in your refrigerator to put a pan of meatballs. Just a heads up. For the soup, you can heat oil in Dutch oven over medium-high heat until shimmering. Cook garlic. Okay, what kind of oil? That's olive oil. Okay. Cook garlic and red pepper flakes until fragrant, about 30 seconds. So this would be like a low, medium-high heat. But I feel like for garlic, you need medium-low heat because garlic burns really quickly. So if I was doing this, I would put red pepper flakes first and then put the garlic and then cook for like 30 seconds. So cook the red pepper flakes first for like 15 seconds and then cook garlic for 30. Add broth and bring to a boil. Stir in kale or Swiss chard, which tastes better, and simmer until softened, 10 to 15 minutes. Stir in meatballs and pasta. Reduce heat to medium and simmer until meatballs are cooked through and pasta is tender, about 10 minutes. Okay, so I would start low here, low heat, and then when you add the broth, I would bring to the highest. That's how you bring something to a boil. And then you put the kale in, and when you add the meatballs and pasta, I would reduce the heat to medium, and that's how you simmer. Simmering means you bring the heat high and then you lower the heat. Alright, stir in parsley and salt and pepper to taste. Serve. Leftover soup can be refrigerated for up to 3 days. Alright, easy mini meatballs. We found that the large end of a meatball or a melon baller guarantees uniform meatballs that will cook evenly. The melon baller also greatly speeds up the shaping process. So I will try to look for something like this. And I'm sure you can find the OXO cookie scooper thing that you can just do that. That would be really great for meatballs too. So that's a great trick. So that was the Pittsburgh wedding soup. Okay, and the last recipe is the peach puzzle. All right, so let's look at why this recipe won. Our grand prize winning recipe has all of the abracadabra of a magic trick, as well as beautiful presentation and all-around good taste. It deserves a place alongside cobbler and crisp in the pantheon of simple American fruit desserts. The recipe history is one-of-a-kind family recipe created by Lewis's mother in the 1940s. This unique technique. This unlikely recipe begins by placing a custard cup upside down in the center of a pie plate. Peeled peaches are arranged around the cup and then drizzled with a mixture of brown sugar, butter, and vanilla. Buttery biscuit dough is domed over the peaches, and then this puzzling dessert goes into the oven. Once cooled, the pie plate is flipped over to reveal tender peaches nestled into the flaky biscuit. So where's the butterscotch? Like syrup? It's all in the cup. Ooh. What our winner says, when you pour a spoonful of syrup over the warm peach and it soaks into the biscuit crust, you will think you died and went to heaven, where when greeting my mom, she would be pleased that it was her recipe that you come visit. That's really sweet. All right, so for the peach puzzle, it serves 7. Okay, or less than 7 if you want more than one. I'm sure you're going to want more than one. Right, if it's that good. All right, you need 7 medium peaches, peeled. See note. So you need choose peaches that are neither very ripe nor rock hard. They should give you a little when squeezed. Be sure to invert the pie plate quickly to avoid losing any of the syrup. Serve with vanilla ice cream or sweetened whipped cream. Okay, so 7 medium peaches. Where's the note? Maybe that's the note. All right. I don't see any note. All right. 3/4 cup packed light brown sugar, 6 tablespoons water, 2 tablespoons unsalted butter, half a teaspoon vanilla extract, and 1/8 of a teaspoon salt. For the dough, you need 1 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons sugar, And then you need 1 tablespoon baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so that's how you do it. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 5 tablespoons unsalted butter, 6 tablespoons milk. And I'm sure you can substitute different types of milk. For the peaches and syrup, adjust oven rack to middle position and heat oven to 400 degrees. Place 6-ounce custard cup or ramekin upside down in center of 9-inch pie plate and arrange the peach around ramekin like that. Oh, okay, so there's 7 peaches, so yeah, I would probably eat only 1. Okay, never mind about that. I thought it was like half a peach, like upside down, you know? All right, so combine brown sugar. So you need combine, where's the brown sugar? Combine 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar, 6 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt in medium saucepan, and stir over medium heat until sugar dissolves and butter melts about 5 minutes. Pour syrup over peaches. Okay, so there's the peach with the syrup on top, I guess. And then for the dough, pulse flour, sugar, baking powder. So you need a 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon baking powder. That's a lot of baking powder. And salt. You need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. In food processor until blended. Add butter and pulse until flour mixture is pale yellow and resembles coarse cornmeal. 5 to 6 1-second pulses. Turn mixture into medium bowl. To make dough by hand, use large holes on box grater to grate frozen butter into bowl with flour mixture. Then rub flour-coated pieces between your fingers until flour mixture turns yellow and pale yellow and coarse. Okay, so use large holes on box grater to grate frozen butter into bowl with flour mixture. Okay, so and then step 3. Using rubber spatula, fold milk into flour mixture, pressing mixture against sides of bowl to form dough. Squeeze dough together and flatten into disc. On lightly floured work surface, roll dough into 9-inch circle. Lay dough directly over peaches and press dough so that it fits snugly around peaches. The dough will stretch as you fit it around peaches, but do not attach dough to pie plate. Bake until top is golden brown, 25 to 30 minutes. Cool on rack for 30 minutes. Step 4. Place large rimmed serving plate over top of pie plate. And quickly invert puzzle onto plate. Photo 3. So photo 3 is that one. You can kind of see it, but there's the plate that's upside down. I mean, that's the plate that's you're gonna put the peach ultimately, and that's the one that you baked. So cut into wedges around each plate in each peach and serve, pouring syrup over each portion. All right, and that is the heirloom, the peach puzzle that won the prize. And yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to actually make an ASMR cooking video because I actually love cooking. So, yeah, that's my dream. I hope you enjoyed. This is a book that I got the recipe from, and it's a 2007 cookbook. And this cookbook actually has a lot of, what is it? Like, a lot of, it's a compilation of all of the recipes from 2007. So I definitely want to do more of these. So I'll choose 3 recipes that I think